So I'm sitting here literally trying to record a quick episode while my son is with my mom because I'm doing that virtual school thing. Yeah, you know the one. Who would think a 15-year-old would still be so needy? Oh my God. Can any of you relate to what I'm talking about, or is it just me? Are you trying to juggle work, get the kids situated with the at-home schooling thing, and everything else in life is being thrown your way? I just want to tell you, I get it. I understand. I am with you. And that is why I'm doing this episode today, because there are days where I wake up and I am just like, God, I am sucking wind here. I literally suck. I don't know how I'm juggling all this. And I don't know if I can continue to juggle all this. If you have felt like this before, understand this. You are not alone. Did you hear that? You are not alone. So stay tuned in with me today as we talk about being stuck on the I suck mindset and mentality and the steps to help you through the journey through this. I want to help you today to say, I can do this. I am a big deal, because yes, you are. And look at me now. Watch me roar. I want you to be the person and know who you really are today. Despite what your occupancy look like, despite what your coworkers tell you, even despite what your regional may say. So stay tuned and listen in. Welcome to Champions of Change Corner. Hi, I'm Tiffany. I provide quick tips and idea nuggets to help you with proven sales, marketing, and business development strategies, along with a little sprinkle of leadership concepts so that you can inspire change, impact lives, and improve outcomes for the aging, their families, and your teams. Whether you already own a business or work in senior living, home health, home care, or any other service-related business focused on improving the lives of the aging, or maybe you would like to. If your mission is to serve them, my mission is to serve you. After spending the last 9 years or so in senior living and home health, I have become a passionate advocate for the aging and those who support them. Every week, I promise to help you gain the tools, the knowledge, and resources to improve your bottom line, whether that is for your personal career growth or business goals. It is your time to be inspired, gain practical tips, and own your future. Let's get started. Have you ever had one of those days where you wake up groggy, you slam the snooze button 5 times at least, right? And then you realize you cut it razor thin to do all you have to do to leave on time? Kids are not cooperating. You get a text from a family member, your ED, a referral source, a vendor, and it's not even 9 a.m. yet. You're driving in and you're thinking about all you have to do for the day. The weight of the occupancy challenges are on your shoulders and they seem to be overtaking you. You have 2 scheduled conference calls, yes, this week with your regional, and you have to tell her, that family I told you that was coming in. Yeah, they decided not to move in, like yesterday. Even though you shouldn't take it personally, you do, because you poured all you had into this particular family, and you think about the time, the energy, and all that it took. Is it just me? Am I the only one who had days like that, or do you have days like that as well? Well, I know I did, and I have to tell you, those were the yucky days where it seemed like no matter where you turn, it was like opposition was going to find you and hunt you down. And you would just kind of look at yourself and you're having that moment and you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I suck. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? You know, I did not end where I thought I would be by the end of this month. I thought I would be further. I'm not where I thought I should be in my career. I thought I would be further. Don't think just because I have transitioned to become a business owner, I don't fight those same thoughts and feelings that you do as well sometimes. As a matter of fact, I remember working inside of a community like it was yesterday, and those feelings, that pressure, that stress, I remember it just like I was feeling it right now. I can tell you, I know. Some days I thank God I am sucking wind because my mind is still stuck in corporate America, personally here. My body and my mind and how I operate is still stuck sometimes working and having people over my shoulder, pressing on that buttons. And I have to remember, Tiffany, you're not in that environment anymore. You can do things differently. However, that pressure, you know the one I'm talking about, that pressure that you sometimes feel trying to please others is still on me, just like I know it is on you. So like you, I have overarching goals that are just like, oh my God, how am I going to get it all done? And oh, by the way, I want it all done by yesterday. I don't have anyone telling me that, but I feel that. And that's why I know for so many of you, I understand what it's like. I have never forgotten what it's like to be in a community. And it's okay to recognize and say, hey, I'm in a bad place. You know, I've had many days that I was in a bad place as a sales director. I had many days I was in a bad place as a regional. It's just what happens sometimes. When you start to feel that, it impacts your confidence level, which then impacts your sales. I'm going to share with you 3 steps I've had to implement over the years to get myself out of that I suck headspace. Because when you're in that headspace, you are projecting it, and you're projecting a certain energy to your families, to your coworkers, your vendors, your referral sources. They all start to feel that. Sales is a mindset, right? So you have to work on getting your mind right so that you can show up right, so you can get the right results. My hope is that by taking you through this journey of my 3-step process, it will help lift your confidence level. And the funny part is that I was thinking of this as I was driving, having negative talk in my head, going to pick up lunch for me and my son. And it was so impressed upon me to share it with you. I wrote it on the back of a receipt for my food. That is how heavy this was on my mind. Let's start. What are my steps? What do I do to get my mind out of that negative headspace, that you're sucking when you aren't good at this, all those words that come into your mouth, into your mind through your mouth, sometimes even, right? So the first step for me is music. Music helps me to come out of that space. You may be saying, what? Like, that's not deep. And it's not. How is music going to help, right? Music means so much to so many people. Research studies have confirmed the impact of music on the brain and how it also affects your mood. It is pretty amazing, especially with Alzheimer's and dementia patients. Like, I remember looking at a video, it was a documentary, I believe, with HBO about Alzheimer's and dementia. And there was this man who was really at a more advanced stage of the disease. And, you know, he was walking around, walking in and out of people's apartments. You know, he had a girlfriend in the, memory care, even though he had a wife. He was really advanced. You know how that goes. If you worked in a community, you know how that goes, right? So it was very obvious that he had dementia, but his family was taking him to an event because back in the day, he used to sing in a male, like all bebop jazz style, boop, like boo, 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 like those type of, songs and groups and stuff. And he was one of the lead singers within this group. So he kept asking his wife, where are we going? And she would tell him where they're going. And then, of course, he would ask her again, and he would ask her again. You know how that goes. And when they got there, his anxiety level, you could see, was heightened in the film, right? Because it was too much commotion, too much stimulation. So they kind of took him, they got him up to the stage, and they introduced him. People started clapping, and then the music started. And when the music started, he started singing. This man did not miss a beat. He did not miss a word. He did not miss anything. If you looked at him from the audience, you would never even know that he was suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia. He was smiling, tapping his foot, snapping his fingers, all on beat, singing every single word with a smile on his face. It was amazing. It was a heart-wrenching moment that spoke to the power of music and how it can actually heal even for a moment in time. And I say that because music heals the soul. There have been many days where I was driving to my community. Side note, if you're anything like me, it was a 25-minute drive. But of course, with traffic in the morning, it would end up being 55 minutes or over an hour. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Anybody out there knows? I would play music, and certain songs would get me ready to be in that mind space before I walked into the door of my community. It was what I needed and what I anticipated I had to face that day. So depending on either if it was the radio or my playlist, I would usually use my playlist because I knew the mood I had to be in and what I needed to hear for that particular day. And if I was in a bad headspace, the songs would lift me out of it. I'm going to tell you, there are 3 playlists that I have. I am being super, super vulnerable here because music is a very personal thing, right? And if you can see me now, I'm smiling like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to share this. But this is what I'm sharing. My playlist consists of songs that basically says, Tiffany, you are a big deal. We should all have I'm a big deal playlist. So these are the playlists that says to me that Tiffany, you're a big deal. Sometimes it's helpful when others are speaking to us and words are coming into our head. Words coming into your head infiltrate your heart, right? And so music is like that self-conversation. It's that connection. That's why we feel so connected to the singers, right? Because we feel like they're talking directly to us. And that negative narrative, yeah, you know the one, is there. We're constantly battling it. But if someone is telling us the opposite, we're able to push that down and rise up our confidence level. That negative narrative is always telling us things that we haven't done, all the things we aren't. It shows us and amplifies our faults, our shortcomings, and so on and so forth. And so by having music to explicitly state how much of a big deal you are, it is good for your soul. You need that to kind of come out of your fog. So what are samples of like a big deal songs? Well, I think about like Beyonce with Diva, the script, I think with Hall of Fame, my first playlist is Who I Am as a Woman. That's my first playlist. It actually talks to who I am as a woman. It speaks to my being as a person, as a woman of color. It may include Fena Gatu with Doing Her Thing Though. She's doing her thing though. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It could be Stronger by Kelly Clarkson, even Moment for Life or Feeling Myself by Nicki Minaj. Yes, I kind of go there once in a while, right? Beyonce with Formation, Pink with Just Like Fire. You have to know as a woman how to be strong because there's so many narratives against you that you have to fight, especially in the work world. And so having a playlist of strong women talking about how to be a strong woman and has always inspired me. It helps me to gain strength as a woman. My second playlist is Who I Am as a Child of God. Now, you can call it what you want. I happen to believe in a higher being, and I happen to call him God. So for me, I have to sometimes for me to come out of that headspace, I have to remind myself of my position in his kingdom. No matter what your beliefs you have, knowing that you are part of something larger than your own life, that you are a part of an ecosystem that helps to inspire and change the lives of others is what I would call it. So for me, I consider myself a child of God. And the type of music that helps me get out of my unstuckness, my I suckness, that mindset, it reminds me of not only the bigness of who he is and the universe that I believe he created, but it also puts me in the space of who I am as his creation and how my contribution to that universe means something to somebody else. So it drives purpose, calling, conviction, all to me. So no matter what is going on around me, I know by going into that community, by serving my sales team, I am fulfilling a higher purpose and a higher calling. So listening to music that inspires me in that way is so important to me and helped me. The third playlist is who I am as a business person. So the type of music is a little bit on the gangsta side, kind of talks about business skills overall. Maybe not all legit type of business skills, but, and I say legit, it might be like street business, but things like that. But it still helps me because there's a certain bravado you have to have if you're on the street. If you're doing street stuff that can land you in jail, you have to have a certain type of confidence and bravado. Not that I am advocating any of that, but the music is just like, oh yeah. Girls Rule the World by Beyonce is a softer version of that, but it has that bravado in it. You know what I'm saying? Or Every Day I'm Hustling by Nipsey. That one is another one that I'm just like, oh, and there's just so many that are like that, that kind of has a little bit of bravado in it. Yeah, I tend to listen to those too. They give me a different type of energy. So I tend to play these songs in the morning, depending on the type of morning that I need and that will minister to my heart. Let's just pause here. Let me know what songs help you move out of your funky moods. Tag me on Instagram with the song at Champions of Change Corner on IG. Let me know so that way I can either add your songs to my playlist, because now you know I've made myself completely vulnerable and told you what is my playlist. So if it's a song that speaks to you as a woman, if it's a song that speaks to you as a child of God or whomever, if it's a song that speaks to you and your little gangster business skills, let me know. All right. The second mind shift that I do comes from personal development. So the first was music, right? The second is personal development. I believe that music, it helps you to get your mindset right? It kind of pulls your mood up and it gets you to open yourself for the second portion, which is personal development, which is now how to move from where I was into the next level of where do I want to go? Where do I want to be? It's like, this is where I am now, but I need to get to that next level, that next realm that I know I can be. But you need the mind right so that you can open your heart to receive personal development information. It tells me what actions, personal development that is, tells me what actions I need to take that is going to help me get to where I need to be. It is the how. Right? So what I do to uplift myself is listen to podcasts, lots of them. I listen to Audible books because I am limited on my reading time. So I can do a book a lot faster if I have Audible. That is going to help me level up my skills. It levels up my mindset. It levels up my productivity. When you focus on personal development, you start to change who you are and you start to level up and you get your mind right for what you can be or who you can be. You can start to gain the skill sets that you did not have before. So just like how we talked about in marketing before, you have to tell somebody 7 times, multiple or more, right? For them to even come to you, to get that message out. You can't just do it once. You can't just do it twice. You gotta do it over and over again so that then they start to, it's an awareness, and then it moves from awareness to an identification from identification to maybe I might need that. Like there's a journey in marketing, right? To get into the mind of people. And it's the same way with you. You have to reinforce those messages into your life so that you can then start being able to practice those skills that you're learning, that you're developing. You're reinforcing messages when you're doing personal development. So you might have to listen to a productivity hack, maybe once, twice, 3 times, and then you have to practice. And then you might fail, you have to go back. Then you have to practice. Then you might fail, you go back and you tweak it and you make it right so that you can be more productive. Again, TED Talks are amazing on YouTube. I love them. Audible. Again, podcasts are great. Reading blog posts, taking online courses, or just joining mastermind groups, researching your industry, all these things, anything that's related to the component of how can you level up your skills, whether it's organization. There's so many different aspects of what we do working in a community that you can really try and work on leveling up those skills. By doing so, it can help your conversion techniques, right? You're going to learn how to connect with people, maybe through video. You can learn digital marketing. There's just so much of it. And these are just the things that's going to help you to do better. And once you start honing in on these skills, you're going to feel more confident about what you're doing. Your personal development is your planned trajectory on where you want to go. And you're taking the action to go where you see yourself being. Sometimes maybe even just doing a vision board. I remember I had a sales director who I love this woman. She started off as a part-time bus driver and moved her way up to become a sales director within a rather short period of time because her personality was so amazing and dynamic. And she had to grow a community that we had emptied out for a new niche, very purposeful type of community that was kind of difficult to find the right person to come into. And she put a vision board. She heard that there was a trip that the company was offering, and she was like, I'm going on that trip. I'm going on that trip. And so she put her together a picture of the location and a vision of what she wanted and her goal. And lo and behold, 9 months later, this beautiful soul grew this community from 4 residents to 52 residents in 9 months. And it was not easy, but she did it. I was so proud of her. But that is where a vision board can help you. My question for you, as we're pausing on this portion of it, is what books have you read or podcasts do you consume regularly? Share them with me on Facebook at Champions of Change Corner. Come to my Facebook page on Champions of Change Corner and let me know on the post what books you look at or what podcasts you listen to regularly. I may add that to my list. The third is taking imperfect action. Yes, taking imperfect action. So the first is getting your mind right. That's with the music, right? And then you're going to work on yourself and committing to doing that. That's with the personal development. And now you have to commit with intention of taking the action that's necessary. You're not going to do it all perfectly the first time, but this is where you have to have it framed in your mind that you're going to take what you're learning and you're going to move forward. And you're going to keep moving forward with intentional practice that is going to be different than just regular practice itself. Practicing something with no intention is just remote. It's like doing the thing over and over again. Sorry, that's me clapping snapping my fingers. Sorry about that if you heard that. But I talk with my hands, so you can't see me, but my hands are all over the place. But it's with intentional practice. Intentional practice that is going to be different than regular practice itself is what's important. Practicing with intention, measuring the outcome, seeing what happened, analyzing, saying, okay, I'm going to try it again this time, this way, and then doing it again. That is what I'm talking about when I say taking imperfect action. It's taking action. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be intentional. So that everything that you do, there is an intention behind it. And that is a very powerful exercise of getting your mind in a better place. Do you ever wake up in the morning with intention, not rolling out of bed, hitting the snooze button, but practice getting up and saying, today, this is what I'm going to be today. And I'll give you an example. Every week, not every week. Some weeks I lax. Okay, you got me. Some weeks I lax. But most times I try to start my Mondays off with an intentional word of how I'm going to show up for people and then how I'm going to show up for myself. And I got this from Brendan Burchard. Again, that's the self-improvement to get my mind right. What do I need to do? And how do I do this? And so intentionally, I will say this week, I'm going to show up for people as being a helper. I am going to be a helper to people this week. I am going to be a resource to people this week. So whoever comes into my orbit, I'm going to make sure that I try and help them, and I'm going to try and make sure I'm a resource. And for myself, I'm going to show up as being courageous. No matter what happens to me this week, I am going to exhibit the characteristic of being courageous. I'm going to take bold actions. And so I do this every week, and it will be only 3 words that I will do each week. But that is my week of intention. And do you not know that by setting that intention, speaking it out, writing it down, I will be tested. I will be tested. And then what happens is that I then go and exhibit, because I remember now with intention, Tiffany, you can't say no to this person. You said you were going to be a helper. You said you're going to be a resource. Tiffany, you can't cower down in fear over here. You said you're going to be courageous. And that is how I help myself pull myself out of these moods. Measuring and monitoring the results that I get with my intentions, with my goal in mind, is the steps that I take to help me get over these down times. If they're not going in the right direction, then I know, guess what? I need to pivot. I need to adjust. I need to be agile. That was one of the key words. One of my former companies used to say, we got to be agile. So I need to be agile, and I need to tweak. Sometimes you just need to tweak, and that is okay. 2020 is personified as an agile tweaking year. Everybody has to tweak. Everybody has to tweak in 2020 and have to be agile. You have to move, you have to flow, you have to dodge, you have to pivot. We're all feeling it. The good part is that when you start seeing those wins on a consistent basis from having those intentional practice of doing things, you're going to pull yourself out of that mindset. It's going to build your confidence. It's going to build your confidence. So by doing something so intentional, and whether it is, I'm going to intentionally reach out to 10 families, and I'm going to do a personal connection with 10 of them every single day for a week. That is an intention. And then that means you have to call them. You have to find out more about them. You have to then create a personal connection that's going to speak to their heart and to their soul. You have to get it out to them. You have to do, and it's intentional activity. And then you measure. And then once you see a win, and those little wins, this happened. This family said this family said. So now your confidence level is built. And you should do that too with your team. Maybe, your maintenance director can take a deposit for you. That's a win. Maybe your grouchy dining services director asks you, because of your intention of how you're going to show up, say, you know what, let me help you with the new family. Let me make something for you to go. Would that help you? And they're going to see that you're open for their help because your energy is different and you're doing things with intention. And these are small wins. It doesn't have to be, a win is not always a move-in. A win is movement towards a move-in or towards helping a family with a solution. that can then, because everybody may not move into your community, but everybody has a mouth that can refer other people to your community. And that, to me, is a win. If I can help somebody that's going to help them to tell more people about me, that's a win. Do you have any small wins that you can share with me? Let me know in the Facebook group. Yes, we have a Facebook group. Did you not know that? It is called Changemakers for the Aging. And if you have not joined the Facebook group, it's completely free for sales, marketing professionals and business professionals interested in growing their business. And it's just a space where we can kind of circle around together and we can help each other, because by helping each other, we're helping more and more families. I know how disheartening occupancy challenges can be. I know how things are out of control right now and how disheartening that can be. I know when you have worked so hard and you're doing all you can, and it just seems like sometimes you're going it alone and nobody understands the pressure that you're feeling as a sales professional in a community or as a business owner. It's a very lonely road sometimes. I was there in a community. I was there as a regional, and I'm here now as a business owner. And I understand. I know what it's like to feel discouraged. But I will encourage you today that it is not you. Never attach yourself to your outcome. Separate the results of your outcome of your activities to who you are as a person. I will tell you this. I failed at this. I thought that when things didn't go well in a community, when different things didn't go well as a regional, I attached it to my worth. And it wasn't until I came out and had this time in 2020 to really wrap myself around to who I was that I realized, oh my God, all this time I've been attaching these things and saying it was me, when in reality, there were sometimes conditions that was outside of me. And I knew this in my head, but in my heart, it said a different story. And so that's why I want to tell you today, don't always attach your worth. Don't ever attach your worth to the outcome. Could you be on the wrong seat in the bus? Yes. Could it be that you're not supposed to be a salesperson? You're trying to be, and maybe that's just not the right thing for you? Absolutely. That happens, right? But it's for you to really take total everything into account. And that's where personal development comes in. And that's where honing your skills come in. But know your value. And if you feel like, you know what, I excel so much better in activities, I should be an activity director, then do that. Or I could really be an ED. I can support sales, but ED is really where my passion, where my heart, I know I could do that. Then do that. But don't attach a actionable failure to saying that your value as a person, who you are, is a failure. I want you to come out of this episode feeling encouraged, to know that you're not alone, number one, to help you get out of that headspace that's not good for you, number two, and to know that you are valued. You are valued. It is not good for your family, your community, it's not good for your residents or anyone else for you to be in a bad headspace. There's so many of you who are amazing, amazing sales directors who has had phenomenal results in the past that is struggling today. And I'm here to say, it's not all you, and that's okay. Recognize the environment that you're in. Don't utilize it as an excuse. Do what is necessary, but understand that you just have to maybe take these 3 steps to get you out of that mentality, who will then change your confidence level, which will then change the results that you have coming in. I hope this helps you today, friend. As always, my goal is to inspire change, impact lives, and to improve outcomes for you, for your residents, for your families that you're reaching out to. And one thought I want you to remember is this. If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. So with that, I leave you, beautiful family. Until next time, thanks for joining me. Hey friends, thank you for listening to the Champions of Change Corner podcast. It is my personal mission, if you don't know already, to inspire change, impact lives, and really improve the outcomes for those of you who are still working in the field and in the community with our beloved aging adults and seniors. I am just so appreciative of your time and that you decided to spend your time with me here today. If you enjoyed the podcast today, there are 3 things that I would really love for you to do. Number 1 is subscribe to the podcast so that you can have the alerts delivered to your phone when new episodes are released. That way you'll know exactly when the new episodes are coming out and can share it. Which is number 2, right? Is to share the podcast with your friends and colleagues who are also professionals in the senior living space. And number 3 is to screenshot the podcast and tag the show on Instagram. We actually have an IG handle on Instagram. It is at Champions of Change Corner. And last but not least, if you want the inside scoop and exclusive access to the upcoming resources to level up your sales and marketing skills, go to my website, tiffanyhillallen.com, and sign up for the updates. Join me on this journey, this cutting edge journey with the rest of the change makers that are out there who are ready to transform and change the narrative of senior living and care in your area. So I am so excited. I look forward to interacting with you there on my website. And until next time, be safe and be the change.